The Subcommittee on Interior, Energy, and the Environment will come to order. Without objection, the Chair is authorized to declare recess at any time. We appreciate your interest in this topic and welcome your participation today. We may be having some members from the full committee here today, so I'd like to ask for unanimous consent that all members of the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform be allowed to fully participate in today's hearing. Without objection, so ordered. And I'll now recognize myself for 5 minutes for an opening statement. Today, the Subcommittee on Interior, Energy, and the Environment will examine obstacles that Native Americans face with respect to energy development, education, and health care on tribal land. The General Accounting Office and the Department of the Interior Inspector General have extensively documented the serious and troubling problems Native Americans face in these areas. Today, we're going to try to do our part to bring attention to these issues by shining a little bit of light, congressional light, and oversight on them. When it comes to energy development, tribes face costs and regulatory impediments that do not exist for development on non-tribal land. Attaining a permit to drill on Native American land is more expensive and time-consuming than doing so off tribal lands. Tribes must conduct detailed environmental assessments and obtain costly permits that not every tribe can afford. The Department of Interior attempted to address this by creating a special service center to streamline the regulatory process. However, 3 of the largest regulatory agencies, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Army Corps of Engineers, and the Fish and Wildlife Service, were not included in the service center. Omitting agencies that play such a large role in regulating the energy development undermines the Department's effort to reduce the barriers to energy development on tribal land. As a result of these unnecessary impediments, valuable development opportunities are wasted and revenue is lost. For example, the Southern Ute tribe, represented here today in our hearing, has foregone almost $90 million in revenue waiting for federal approval of right-of-way agreements. Energy resources represent a crucial way for many tribes to meet their budgetary obligations and provide needed services to their members. As for education, the Bureau of Indian Education, or BIE, has struggled to provide adequate school facilities for tribal children. Roughly 42,000 students attend schools administered by the BIA. Badly outdated schools are in disrepair and pose a major health and safety risk for students. Inconsistent inspections have contributed to deteriorating physical conditions of school. Problems include asbestos, mold, roofing issues, and electrical danger. I think we have some slides here of some schools. As you can see here, we've got an upstairs room in a 1930s building that holds elementary classes at Tuba City Boarding School. This school is, with this exposed wiring, is listed in good condition. Let's go to the next slide. Now, I don't know if you can make it out, but there's some bleachers in there by that middle telephone pole. But they've actually put light posts in the middle of the athletic field there. Millions of dollars were spent on infrastructure improvements, and we come up with this. Image 3, we see thick walls of asbestos insulation are left in one dormitory because the cost to move it is outrageous. Next slide. And we see structural cracks in the stairwell ceiling at another school. Next slide. Building space is needed for student activities. At this school, the building is being kept from being demolished despite the fact that snow comes into the building. That's a pile of snow there under the door. Inadequate staff training contributes not only to inaccurate reporting of schools' physical condition, but also to the independent oversight of school expenditures. GAO has found that millions of dollars intended for Native American schools have been lost due to waste and misconduct. In one instance, over $1 million in federal funds intended for a BIE school ended up improperly in a non-school-related offshore account. Despite the fact that BIE schools spend almost 3 times per student more than public schools, we have a serious problem. Similarly, the Indian Health Service Agency, which serves the medical needs of roughly 2.2 million Native Americans, suffers from inadequate patient care. Patients often experience unreasonably long wait times, and high turnover rates of key personnel negatively impact the quality of care and services at IHS schools. Hopefully today we can make some progress by highlighting the issues and discuss it with our panel and come up with some solutions. As a new administration takes office, this is a good time to hold these hearings. With that, I'd like to thank the witnesses for agreeing to be here today and provide testimony. At this point, I'd like to recognize our ranking member, the gentlelady from the Virgin Islands, Ms. Plaskett.